to kill your video. Share my screen. All right, and welcome to Witch Hat Chats, presented by the ever moving We Rise Wit and Shrine, the Laughing Soul Holistic Center, and Moonlight Potions and Charms. We are the witchy ones. I am your host, Nikki Kirby, and Miss Pamela Griffith, is your co-host. Happy Samhain, Pam.
Hey, Samhain, I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Samhain is here.
Yes, and you can go ahead and dance naked after this.
Can't wait. I need to. I'm back in Florida. Whew.
Oh, yeah, we got that Florida going on, don't we?
Yes, we do. We got Florida going on. And Nikki, we got our auction going on too.
We do, Pam. And it's our Dark Mystery Silent Auction. And these are items that Pam and I have chosen ourselves. And a special gift is that Pam and I are going to be doing 30-minute readings instead of 15. And that's really, really awesome. Pam is excellent when it comes to doing that, aren't you, Pam?
Oh, yes. And Nikki's no slouch either. But the nice thing about a 30-minute reading is you get a little bit more in depth and you can get a little bit better reading time. 15 minutes is good for a quick overview, but 30 minutes really gives you your money's worth, so to speak, especially if you have questions or you have things you need to work through. That 30 minutes makes that extra 15 minutes makes all the difference.
That's right. So you can go to www.thelifeandsoulholisticcenter.com/WHC Dark Mysteries for our auction items. And like I said, we've got a lot of good ones, and they've been personally, chosen by Pam and me, and they would make a great thing for your altar or some gifts or, whatever. Just because you're a witch. There we go. There's the reason why you should do it. It's just because you're a witch. Right?
That sounds like the best reason in the world, just because you're a witch. Works for me.
All right. And so the ever moving We Rise Wit Shrine will be doing their Samhain ritual tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we do have a special guest that's going to be joining us, Byron Ballard. Yay!
We're excited about that.
Yeah, we are. But Pam will not be lighting herself on fire. So we just want to let you know about that. I mean, you guys saw last week what happened. So
yeah, good times.
But the next Sunday, we're doing the Remember the Dead Blue Moon Ritual, which will be on November 1st at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, mentioning of readings, Miss Pam, are you still giving readings at the Halloween Psychic Fair?
Well, you know what? I am, and I understand you are too, but you're also doing like about a million other things. You want to give us a clue?
Oh, yeah. So, Tim Ravenwolf Greenfield and I have a new show called Moonlight Emporium, which is on Magic TV, and that's on YouTube. And this is where we comment on various products that our vendors at the Halloween Psychic Fair have. And it's a really great show. It's a good way to be able to see what our vendors have and support our local pagan business community. And I know Pam is giving these amazing readings. I've heard so much about her. Don't let her fool you. She is actually a witchy witch, which she will probably prove, going on through the Samhain videos. But also on the 28th at 7:30, I'm doing a class at the Halloween Psychic Fair entitled Werewolves, Fact or Fiction. And this one is awesome. I've been teaching it for years, especially an introduction to the Child of Night that includes history, lore, and possible scientific explanations. And then we've got my intensive workshop, Death, My Friend, My Ally, which is coming up on the 29th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we will talk about this non-presidential entity and how it can become your friend and ally. Because a lot of people, they're afraid of death. But you know what? You shouldn't really be afraid of death. Actually, you can make death your friend and things will be a lot better. So, I will also be vending for the Madam Z's Witch Gathering virtual event on November 6th through the 8th. And there are going to be vendors and lots of classes from a variety, variety of different belief systems, from voodoo all the way into the Pennsylvania witchcraft. And all in between. And even Lilith Dorsey, who was here last week, will be teaching a class, and I'm really looking forward to that one. And so you go on www.madamz.com for more information. So for our Samhain edition, Pam and I have a lot of jam-packed information and fun for you. So Pam, do you think we ought to get started on that?
I think we better, because I think we overran time on some of these videos. We got too excited.
Oh, we always get so excited. This is our holiday, the Witch's New Year. This is when we get to cast our spells. We cast our spells all year long, but this
is our special time.
All right, so let's yeah. Samhain is the most important and the last Celtic fire harvest festival of the year, as it is located halfway between the solstice and equinox. It is considered to be one of the four cross-quarter festivals. Samhain is Gaelic and is pronounced Samhain, not Samhain. The theories of life, death, and transformation. It is believed that the veils between the living and the dead completely drop on Samhain's Eve, October 31st, and thus allowing the dead to cross into the world of the living and visit the living. Villagers would leave food and offerings outside their village for the dead. The nights became longer and colder, and big bonfires are lit to shed light into the darkness, providing guidance through the next winter months. Those who practice Wiccans consider Samhain to be the witch's new year, as it is the ending of an old year and the beginning of a new year. The goddess descends from the land to the underworld to be with the dying god. Her opening the door to the underworld is the reason why the veil between the worlds thins, and there are celebrations and honors of the ancestors. Now, reclaiming witches consider this holiday to be a day to reclaim equality and justice. Every year in San Francisco, California, they celebrate by performing what is called the spiral dance. This is a dance where they join hands and dance in a grapevine step together. And from the air, it looks like a spiral. Now, I've attended these festivals, and they're usually performed inside and are excellent to attend. These celebrations is usually packed and very hot inside. So you know what? They get so hot that even I get hot, and I know if I get hot, Pam is definitely going to die. Oh, she can't stand the heat. But Shadowfest is what the practitioners of Strega have. Their goddess descends into the underworld to have a conversation and a love affair with the god Dice. They discuss why things must die, and Strega witches set out milk and honey for the Fae, set out meals for spirits, and honor their beloved dead. Also known as All Hallowmas or All Hallows Eve, Halloween is celebrated in many countries on October 31st. People celebrate it in many different ways, including dressing up in costumes, attending parties, going trick-or-treating, carving pumpkins, watching or telling ghost stories, playing pranks, divination, and visiting haunted attractions. The modern version of trick or treat comes from Irish and Scottish traditions. In Ireland, the poor, they were called solars, went door to door offering songs and prayers for the dead. And as payment, they were given soul cakes and cookies with crosses drawn on top, representing the souls in purgatory. In France, children collected flowers to decorate graves, and by 1950, most U.S. cities adopted trick or treat in a way to distract people and keep them from playing pranks. Halloween became a commercial event around 1970, and in New York, the LGBT community adopted Halloween to celebrate their true selves. One of the Halloween symbols is jack-o'-lantern, and it comes from Celtic mythology. The story contains many different versions, but one is no one liked Jack because he was lazy and wouldn't work. And one day, Devil came into town and wanted a soul from a poor boy. He ran across Jack and told him that he came for Jack's soul. And Jack told the devil that he could have it as long as he was able to touch the top of an old tree. Well, the devil climbed the tree, but was not able to touch the top. Instead, the devil got stuck and asked for Jack's help. Jack made a deal that if the devil came down the tree, Jack would never be admitted into hell. Well, the devil agreed, and Jack got the devil out of the tree. And no one believed Jack when he told them the story, resulting in Jack drinking and not being very nice to people. So when he died, he was denied into heaven because only good people were allowed in heaven. And Jack was denied access into hell because of the deal he made with the devil. But the demon guarding the gate of hell told Jack that if he switched his soul for another, he would get into hell. And Jack asked how was he supposed to see in the darkness? So the demon threw Jack a hot coal. So Jack hollowed out a turnip and placed the coal inside the turnip. So around Halloween, you can see Jack wandering the town looking for someone to take his place. In Ireland, jack-o'-lanterns are made out of turnips. Well, in the United States, jack-o'-lanterns are made out of pumpkins and they have been turned into national competitions. Its true origins are unknown, but the pointed black witch's hat is theorized to originate from three female mummies in the Chinese region of Sub-Shi, known as the witches of Sub-Shi. They covered their hair with a large funnel-shaped contraption made from black felt. It is unsure when the black pointed hat became associated with witchcraft and sorcery. Until the 1710s, witches were shown as nude and being bald. And in the 1600s, witches wore a bonnet on their heads. So in the 1710s, a child's chapbook in England showed a crone with a pointed black hat. And ever since then, it's stuck. The hat was an easy way to tell if a person, or more likely a woman, practiced black magic. And there is no reason found why the pointed hat was chosen. But there's a theory. Since the hat represents the church's steeple, it was the last desperate effort to pull down God's grace into that person. But actually, the cone pointed black hat symbolizes the witch's cone of power, which is their energy the witch raises to assist them in their magical endeavors. But see, we're going fast forward to modern times, and the witch's hat is no longer the standard pointed black cone hat. Magical people wear all kinds of hats, including top hats and fedoras. The witch's hat comes in a variety of fabrics and hide, and are decorated in various ways, including many different symbols and honoring deities. We celebrate them with pride. And as a Halloween stereotype, the witch's broom is called a bosom, and the date of the invention of the broom is uncertain. The word broom comes from the plant or shrub these devices are made from. And since the household chore has existed since the Old Testament days, the broom has long been associated with women and became a powerful symbol and object of the female hearth. The first witch to ever confess to riding a broom was a man by the name of Elton in 1453. Edelin was a priest from the Saint Germain en Church near Paris, France. After publicly criticizing the church's warnings about witches, Edeline was arrested and tried for witchcraft. His confession was the result of torture, but he repented and spent the remaining years of his life in prison. Whoa! He wasn't even released for repenting. Mm-mm-mm. It has been suggested that the roots for this came from the pagan fertility rites, and it was thought to be the perfect vehicle for special flying ointment that witches brew. Now, these ointments contain hallucinogenic ingredients like belladonna, which is a poison. No wonder people thought they could use broomsticks as flying vehicles. So, in witchcraft, besoms are used for more than just writing. They are used to cleanse, prepare, and purify a space to be used for magical workings. They are placed above windows and doors and laid under beds for protection. In hoodoo, broom straw is used for protection, cleansing of yourself, and warning off unwelcome visitors. If a broomstick falls, company is coming. And in some traditions, especially in the South, jumping the broom signifies a marriage union. And witches, ride your brooms high. So, since life, death, and transformation are the themes of Samhain, ancestors are welcomed, celebrated, and honored. The Welsh light jack-o'-lanterns to keep away witches, of course, and to provide the wandering ancestors a path. Candles are also placed in windows facing the west for this purpose. The path is meant for the beloved dead to find their way back to the doors of their relatives, and a feast called the Dumb Supper is held in their honor. Depending on the tradition, a place at the table is set for each ancestor or one for all ancestors, and food is placed on it. And depending on the culture, people sit in silence as they eat, remembering the dead. And in some cultures, the participants eat the feast as they normally would, like the relatives are still alive. The belief is that the ancestors would think that there is something wrong if the family were not operating normally. It also makes the ancestors feel more at home. In other cultures, the doors and windows remain unlocked and plates of food are placed outside for the ancestors who visit. But during this time of year, we celebrate the crone goddess, and she varies depending on culture. So for the Greeks and Romans, the triple goddess Hecate, and her domain is over life, death, and transformation. She is the queen of witchcraft and is older than the Greeks. She's older than the Titans, and her true origins are unknown. It is said Zeus highly respected and feared her, and Hecate's reign is over sky, earth, and sea, and the underworld, and there is no place where she cannot reach. And as an opener and closer of doors and the inner mysteries, her symbols are the keys and the strophalos, known as Hecate's wheel. The dog, snake, and horse are her symbols, and the snake represents transformation, the dog loyalty and protection, and the horse freedom. Now, in African traditions, the Orisha, Oya, presides over storms, winds, thunder, rainbows, the dead, and businesses. She is known as the Great Mother of the Elders of the Night and is the older sister, and she is considered to be the crone. She is the Orisha of change, a feminist, and protector of women. Her sword clears the path for new growth, and her animal is the water buffalo. Now, the god of this time of year is the sorcerer. Now, in Egypt, the lord of the underworld and the dead is Osiris. He is considered to be one of the most important Egyptian gods and was central to the Egyptian life. He was murdered by his brother Set and brought back to life by his sister and wife Isis. Osiris is shown as a mummy in his role as a judge of the dead. Also known as the Lord of Love, the King of Living, and the Eternal Lord, Osiris was seen as a just, generous, and giving God of life and abundance. And the All-Father of the Nordic gods, Odin is the god of wisdom, death, poetry, divination, and magic. He is the chief and king of Asgard. Accompanied by two ravens and wolves, Odin sacrificed one of his eyes from the well of Ura to obtain a massive amount of knowledge about the universe. The English weekday, Wednesday, is named after him. Odin leads the wild hunt as he goes to collect the souls for the dead. And there is so much more, but that includes the traditions, symbols, and deities of Samhain. Pam and I recommend that you do research into these and other traditions to obtain more information about Samhain and Halloween and all the other ways that they celebrate it. Have a happy and blessed and fun Samhain and Halloween.
Well, hello and welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're going to do a dish called colcannon. Colcannon is an interesting dish. It's Celtic. It's with potatoes, and you'll find that most Irish Scots dishes start with potatoes, with some cabbage and some green onions. Colcannon is kind of a cool dish because when you start it out, you have your potatoes, you add your onions, it becomes champs, and you add your cabbage, and all of a sudden, boom, you're at colcannon. Now, the simple recipe takes a little bit of work. It's a little labor intensive. So I'm going to show you some of it, and we're going to break this segment up so you're not spending all the time watching me cook and shred. Really fun. The ingredients are 1 medium head of cabbage, and that's about 2 pounds-ish. You know, a little more, a little less, depending on your love of cabbage. And it needs to be shredded. Easiest way I've ever found to shred is to go and find, unless you have a super fancy machine that does it, do it the old way. And it's just basically shred up and down until you get some finely shredded cabbage. It's sort of along the lines of making a coleslaw in America. You're going to want about 4 pounds of potatoes, and that's about 8 good sized potatoes. I like the red potatoes, so I have to use more potatoes. You want to cut those up because you're going to mash them. Now, this is where it gets up to you. If you want to keep the skins on, I prefer the skins on, and I use red potatoes, so it gives it kind of a nice little color. If you don't, go ahead and peel your potatoes and prepare them normally as if you were preparing mashed potatoes. We'll get to the dicing and slicing of the potatoes in a moment. Then you're going to want 2 cups of whole milk, a cup of chopped green onions. Now, I like the scallions, or what they call spring onions. They're not quite as bitey as an onion, and they have a really good flavor. Another onion you can use if you don't want to use the green onions is the Vidalian onions. It's a much sweeter onion. Then it's a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, some butter, of course. Now, minced parsley and the bacon, because it does have minced parsley and some crumbled bacon, that goes on the top when you serve it. So that's totally up to you if it's optional, if you want to do it. Some people do like the bacon on the top, makes it a little crunchy, kind of like a stuffed baked potato type taste. So we're going to go back into the kitchen now, and I'm going to show you little segments as we go along so you can see what we're doing. So hold it right there, and I'll be right back in a jiff. Okay, now that you've chopped up and shredded that wonderful cabbage, and you've got it all shredded up here, it looks yum yum. You're going to add 2 cups of water to it. You're going to bring it to a boil. You're going to boil it for anywhere from 15, I would say 10 to 15 minutes. You want to get it soft because you're putting this with mashed potatoes. You don't want to be crunching your mashed potatoes. While that is cooking on its own, I start cutting up my potatoes. So you can hold on with this for a minute. I'll show you where we go at with that. Hold on just Okay, so I told you we're going to do red potatoes. I personally like red potatoes. So you're going to dice your red potatoes up as small as you can. It tells you that you can, some recipes will tell you use the same pan. I prefer using 2 different pans. It just makes it go quicker for me because that's boiling, then this could be boiling. I could be working on something else. Make sure you chop those potatoes kind of small. It's going to take 15 to 20 minutes to cook those. So you've already got your cabbage going and boiling. So now you're going to have your potatoes on and boiling. And while all that's going on, we're going to show you how to chop up your spring onions. So now you've got some awesome spring onions here. These are really fresh, and you want to chop them up. You want the green parts. I like to put the white in too because I like mine with a little bit. Now, if you didn't want to go through all the trouble of shredding all that cabbage, you could actually just make champs. And champs is just the spring onions with the potatoes. Now, the neat thing to do now is what you want to do is you want to take, after you get all of these chops done nicely, you're going to want to cook them. And the way you're cooking them, it's going to sound a little odd to us Americans, but you're going to take and you're going to put the milk, the 2 cups of milk, and you're going to add all of this chopped up, and you're going to put a little salt, a little pepper, and a small saucepan. You're going to bring it to just a boil, and then you remove it from heat. What you're doing is you're warming up and softening up just a little bit the onions, because the onions, you do want to have a little crunch. After you do that, you set it off to the side. By the time you get to this point, hopefully all of your good stuff is boiled and it's ready to start using. You're going to want to drain your mashed potatoes like you always do, get the water out. And then you're going to put the milk with the spring, you're going to mash your potatoes really good, add the milk with the spring onions for your liquid to bring it up to a nice consistency. And then you're going to put your cabbage in. Cabbage is the last thing you stir in. Once you get it all stirred in, and when you go to serve, that's when you can sprinkle your parsley on the top and your bacon bits, if you so desire. And that's called cannon. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook this, and we're going to take pictures of it, and we're going to put it on the website, because otherwise you're going to stand here and watch me sweat for the next 2 hours cooking. Well, welcome back, boys and girls. We're ready to start with our next entree that we have. This is New England corn fritters. Now, this is Samhain. We're looking at the last vestiges of the fruits that are coming in for harvest. The fruits of the harvest would be corn. You're going to have cabbage, potatoes. You're going to have the last little bit of probably a bell pepper here and there. You're going to have a little bit of stuff. So this is a kind of a tasty recipe for Samhain, because there's so much other stuff going on with ritual and everything. I kind of like small, I don't know, almost like finger foods. With the corn fritters, they're very much a finger food. And the colcannon is something that you can just put in a small dish and everybody can take a little bit. So it's a quicker meal to get by on. And then, of course, for dessert, we have what's coming up. So what we're going to do is we're going to make the New England corn fritters. They're very, very simple to make. So the one I have is, I need 2 cups of corn, either frozen canned or fresh. 1/3 cup of diced red bell peppers. Here's the red bell. I was able to get some really nice looking ones. And that's optional, and that's if you like bell peppers. They add a different flavor to it. Then you want a little olive oil, because you have to cook your bell peppers, get them a little soft. You need 1½ cups of flours, 3/4 teaspoon of salt, 1½ teaspoons of baking powder, 2 eggs. And then you want a teaspoon of, they're saying vegan butter. I'm going with the real butter. You will never see me eat that. And then 1.5 cups of milk. And milk, again, if you're lactose intolerant, you have almond milk, soy milk, cashew milk, you have your choice. You need some oil for frying. Now, this is really an option up to you guys. Canola oil, corn oil, olive oil, coconut oil, whatever you cook to fry in. And you're going to need maple syrup for dipping. Now, that's probably the best part of the fritters, is the maple syrup. So I'm sauteing the bell pepper. It takes about a minute or so. You just want to get it soft, but you want to chop it up small, because remember, you're mixing all this together. So here's my huge mess mix. Now, it does give a really good, this recipe I really like, because it gives you a quick way to mix. When you're mixing dry ingredients, sometimes it's hard to make sure you get everything where it's supposed to be. So we're going to 1.5 cups of flour, cup, a half. Okay, and then you've got 3/4 teaspoon of salt, and baking powder is 1½ teaspoons of baking powder. Now, with all of the dry ingredients, sometimes you end up with a bit of a problem getting all mixed up together, and then your recipe just kind of doesn't be where it should be. So this is a really cool way of mixing everything together. Back in the day, they tell you to put it in a sifter, and you sift. Those days are bygone. And take a little. These are little handy dandies. I love these little ones. They are just so good for everything. Especially if you're not cooking for a big crowd, these are really great. You're just going to sift it up. There you go. That's what your sifter would have done back in the day. So with what we have going here now, we're going to mix all the dry ingredients. Okay, and This adds air to the blend, but it also blends your ingredients together better. You're going to add your eggs, milk, and butter, and stir. So we need 2 eggs. I've got 2 fresh eggs here. That's why I'm in my refrigerator. I don't like to leave them out while I'm cooking. I have 2 eggs. 1, come on now. And while this is going on, you're going to want to heat up if you can. If you do not have a fryer and you're doing what I'm doing, I do pan frying. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to start your oil getting warm, depending on the pan you're using. I like to use a heavy duty saucepan, actually, not a fryer. And I get the oil starting now so it can start to get a little bit warm before I get into this. And I need 1.5 cups of milk. Of milk. Everybody watches me throw. I have 2 sinks back here and I have a garbage disposal. So I just toss everything into it. It works out really well for me. And the butter. Now in here it had, for butter, it was a tablespoon of butter. And sometimes the butter's not going to work so good unless you go ahead and warm it up a little bit. So a tablespoon of butter takes about 10 seconds in the microwave to get to where it's usable. And all you need is a little microwavable dish, and you just put it in there for about 10 seconds. It should give you exactly what you need. I won't even take that long. Now, while you've got all this going on, remember that your oil is heating. Don't forget that oil on there because you don't want to end up with an oil fire. That is not cool. Keep your eye on your oil. You soften that up. That goes in there. Now we're going to mix all this lovely stuff together. You can mix it however, if you're used to using a fork or, and I'm old, I got the whip. Just easier on my hands. Okay. And you're going to mix all of this good stuff until it's nice and combined, right? Now, you don't want to get it too, you want to have some consistency to it. So if you need to add more flour, please feel free to add more flour. Because sometimes you might add a little bit too much milk or not enough flour. It's all receptive. And your eggs. I use extra large eggs, so that tends to add more, believe it or not, more liquid. So you always have to add a little bit more butter. Most recipes, unless they say extra large eggs, are based on medium eggs. So sometimes that's why your recipe might not turn out the way you want it to, because the recipe is based on less liquid than what you're actually. So we get this all nice and sticky. You want it kind of a sticky consistency because when you mix everything together, you're going to scoop it out. So you want something a little bit scrunchy. Now we're going to add our corn. And it's cups of corn. And each can has approximately 1 cup to it. So for those of you that aren't good with figuring out how much of this stuff you need, it is approximately 2 cans of corn. If you're using frozen corn, you're going to want to make sure that you don't put in any of the ice. Get out as much ice as you can. Sometimes when you get frozen corn, you get ice in it. Fresh corn is going to have probably a little bit more water consistency to it. So you'll have to see how it works with your recipe. Corn like this out of the can is usually the best bet for something like this. Now you're going to want to add in those lovely bell peppers that you cooked. My oil is almost at the consistency it needs to be. Now you're going to stir all this up. Ooh, yummy. Now these are going to be dropped as balls. So you're going to have to, they're telling you need to use a scoop. I prefer to use a spoon. Put them in the oil. And you got to cook them in batches. You want to cook a couple at a time, because what's going to happen is they're going to bubble and have to come to the top. So my oil is well hot enough for this. And we're going to throw 2 of them in. Oops. Make one giant one. You want to try and separate them in the pan when you drop them in. And then you're going to want to let them cook. Now, most recipes are telling me that they have to cook anywhere from like 3 minutes on each side. Dropping them in like this, they're going to cook differently. If you're cooking them in a pan, so I have my pan ready to cook a couple. So I'm going to show you what it looks like when you drop cook a few. and when you cook a few in the pan itself. Now, when you cook in the pan, again, you're going to have to flip them, and you're going to have to put about ½ inch of oil in your pan. So it's going to require a little bit of oil. And depending on how you use your oil, if you're a person who uses and reuses oil, just keep an eye on it because you do have egg in the mixture. So I'm going to make you some that are fried. And these are going to fry up nice and crispy, I hope. And then we're going to look at some that are going to be pan fried. So I've got dropped and I've got pan. And this is to give you an idea of what this looks like, because this recipe makes a whole lot of corn fritter. So you have enough for quite a large gathering. And remember, when you're cooking all of this, again, be mindful of the heat, be mindful of the oil, be mindful of your cooking to make sure that these come out. Oh, nice. My ones that are in the deep oil are cooking up quite nicely. I'm just waiting for them to brown. They will float. If you're doing the drop into the pan, when they're done, they will float. Now all you want to do is just get them brown. So you got to keep an eye on them. This is not something I recommend doing with children unless you have older children, only because of the dangers of the frying pan. And I know I'm a little concerned with sometimes having even the older kids here. So this is really a mom dish. This is an older dish. The kids will love these. If you want to make them even sweeter than what they are, you can actually put some powdered sugar on them. You want to take some confectioner sugar, powdered sugar, and tap on them like you have fried dough. We're big fried dough people. In Baltimore, that's a big thing. So let's see what these lovely things look like. I'm going to remove this out of my way before I end up with that all on my floor, which would not be a good thing. I have, these turned out really good. These aren't, isn't that lovely? Now they tell you to sacrifice one to make sure you got them right. Please do that because you are cooking with eggs. And what people don't understand is raw eggs is raw eggs. Hey, come on down, and plenty of corn fritters for everybody. You take these, and there's your corn fritters. And like I said, sprinkle them with a little powdered sugar, put the warm maple syrup on the side, and you now have an awesome dish. The fried ones are almost ready. Now the fried is a little different. It's more like a pancake. Basically what it is a corn pancake. I couldn't get corn. And I can't turn the fan on because you won't hear me over the fan. So this is the fun part. If you're doing them in a pan, again, you have to remember, you got to keep an eye on that temperature, and you really got to watch your oil. These are the fried ones. They look more like a pancake. So you have your choice. You can either pan fry, or you can. So there you are. You've got your two ways of doing it. Now this is more like a pancake. If you want this, it could be a lunch or actually even a breakfast, making them like the pancakes. These are more finger food. We're going to try it. It's been a while since I've had corn fritters. Oh my goodness. Hot and really good. Believe it or not, this is a great way to get your kids to eat vegetables. So now you have your salmon foods. So enjoy, have fun. Let's give a little to our ancestors. Always make a little bit more and set an extra plate at your table for the ancestors who are missing. Okay, I promised the finished product. This is colcannon, and I did put the bacon on it. This is champ, which is just the potatoes and the spring onions. And here's your corn fritters. These are the ones that were pan fried. They kind of look like a pancake. These are the ones that I drop fried. And they're nice and soft and it's easier to eat. As you can see, this plate isn't huge. The only thing we are missing is meat. And many times for salmon, you just might fix a side of beef. This is more, of course, if you didn't put all the lovely bacon on it, I did. This is more of a vegetarian meal. This is really good just to have something to eat while you're thinking about your ancestors. It's not an intricate meal. It's something you can make a little ahead of time. You can always reheat colcannon or the champs. It's nothing that you have to keep hot. The fritters, you can make them as you go. If you do the pancake ones, you just keep them warm in a warming tray. And that way you have them to serve for your guests. So I hope you enjoyed this part of the cooking. If you have any questions, comments, or you just want to see something else, something different, I will try to cook it for you. I don't make promises. Let's hope I can do it. But if there's something that you would like to see, please let us know. Jump on our website and let us know what you're interested in. drop us a line, say hi, let us know what you're thinking about and what you would like to see. And from me to you, have a happy Saturday.
All right.
Oh, that was awesome, Nikki. I loved the little part you put in there with the cooking tips. That was wonderful. I'm sitting here giggling the whole time. Oh my goodness, that was awesome. We really do want to hear from you guys. I'm still giggling over the humor. If you're a witch, you got to have a good sense of humor. Let's just figure,
Yeah, you definitely need to have that sense of humor, especially with all the crap that we witches go through. Oh, yes.
Oh my God, I was sitting here laughing so hard at this. But that was really super awesome. So now we've gotten to the point where it's time for our song of the week. Each week, Nikki and I select a song from a pagan group or band and display their musical video with their song if they have one. And you guys got to remember, these guys are not getting out anymore. They're contained. They can't go to all the pagan festivals because we've canceled them. So we really want you to, if you see something you really, really like, go to their website. Most of them have where you can purchase their songs. So if you see something you like, go buy that song. Let's keep these guys going. This week, we're proud to introduce a song by a musical group, and their album is called Black Snake. And the title of the song is called Black Snake, and it's by Wendy Rule. And if anybody has heard of Wendy, they know this is an awesome song. So let's sit back and listen.
Black snake leads me down, down into ground, down into ground. I'm following a trail of winding scale, a slender slow, deep down below. I'm following my steps. Black snake slipper slow beneath the world. I think I know. I shed it like a skin. I go within. I'm stripping back, back, slither black snake to where I can begin. I flow like water, seeking serpent way to lower ground. I flow like water, seeking serpent way to lower ground. Black snake leads me down, down into ground, down into ground. From labyrinth bone, through wood and stone, leaves me alone, deep down below. The life that I've been living. Black snake leads me down, down into underground, into underground. I'm swallowing my tail, a winding scale. I circle round, round I spiral down. I'm ready now to start again, start again, start again, start again, start again, start again. Start again, start again, start again, start again, start again, start again. Water seeking serpent way to low ground. I'll move like water seeking serpent way to low ground. Oh, Black snails down, down into ground, down into ground. I'm following a trail, a winding scale. I circle round, round I spiral down. I'm ready now to start again, start again, start again, start again, start again, start again. Start again, start again, start again, start again, start again, start again. I move like water seeking serpent way to lower ground. I move like water seeking serpent way to lower ground. I move like water seeking serpent way to low ground.
Greetings, I'm Lady Nikki Kirby. You may recognize my voice from Witch Hat Chats. It is a privilege to be participating in the Halloween Psychic Fair. Creatures of the night, werewolves fascinate us. They are throughout our history, lore, and popular culture. For instance, did you know that there were werewolf trials? Discover why they fascinate us so much in my workshop, Werewolves, Fact or Fiction. To register, please visit www.halloweenspsychicfair.com. I look forward to meeting you. Have an amazing day. Have questions about Wicca, witchcraft, goddess, god, authentic self, or paganism in general? At Dave Removing Levi's Witness Shrine, we welcome all questions concerning Wicca, witchcraft, goddess, god, authentic self, and paganism. There is no judgment here, as we realize everyone's path is uniquely personal. We are all about emerging the authentic self as we walk in alignment with spirit. We recognize our shrine is a living, breathing organism, and as such, you are welcome to join us as we celebrate the Sabbaths, the spots, goddess, god, and our authentic selves in our monthly rituals, events, and classes. Visit us at our website or Facebook page and discover what magically distinguishes us from the crowd. With the Samhain season comes life, death, and transformation. What is it in your life that you're missing and no longer serves you? Do you feel you were born to do something more? Discover your life's passion and purpose and more at the Laughing Soul Holistic Center, where our classes, coaching sessions, and readings are specially designed to assist and support you with your transition and transformation. Emerge into your authentic self and become the person you were meant to be. Visit us at www.laughingsoul.com and discover how to live the soulful life. Greetings, I'm Lady Nikki Kirby. You may recognize my voice from Witch Hat Chats. It is a privilege to be participating in the Halloween Psychic Fair. The entity known as death is a universal constant that is often misunderstood. It comes in various forms, and we experience it on a daily basis. Discover how to tap into this powerful magic to transform your life in my workshop called Death, My Friend, My Ally. To register, please visit www.halloweensucketfair.com, and I look forward to meeting you. Have an amazing day. October is here, and you know what that means. We pagans get on our broomsticks and gather together during the witching hour. One of the biggest problems us pagans face is that we have very little space. And how do you keep our altars with us? Don't fret, because at Moonlight Potions and Charms, we have the passion in designing products that will help you to embrace the power of your own magic. With the tap of the wand, the altar on the go contains everything you need to set up your magical altar, even in the smallest of spaces. Or the altar on the go, ultimately wicked special edition, jam-packed with more items for your magical needs. Our new arrivals include altars designed to honor the Voodoo Queen, Madame Marie Laveau, Santa Morte, as well as our beloved ancestors. There is so much more in our Wicked store to help you embrace the power of your own magic. So come on in to Moonlight Potions and Charms at www.moonlightpotioncharms.com and discover the wicked things that ignite the magical passion in you. All right, then. There we
Oh
go.
my God, that was awesome, Nikki. That was so awesome. I love sitting through that kind of stuff. She is awesome. I love Wendy Roll. She's the best. She really is. And like I said, don't forget to go ahead and check on her website because there's this thing, and it's an app. Okay, me and apps. It's a Bandcamp, and you can actually download a lot of the artist apps. They have days where it's whatever you want to pay. I know SJ Tucker's on it, so you can get a whole album for like $10. Can't beat it.
Yeah. Or get more than that, just depending on, if they have your name their price and stuff like that. It's really a great way of being able to download their music. Absolutely awesome. So Miss Pam, it is time for us to show people about divination. Are you
Ooh.
excited? So let's go ahead and get that started. And there we go. During this time of year, the witchy season, many people want to know about their futures. As in other pagan holidays, ancestors perform several different types of divination. So when most people think about fortune telling, they think about the tarot and runes. But the Halloween Oracle, Lifting the Veil Between the Worlds Every Night by Stacey DeMarco, is an excellent oracle for the Halloween Samhain season. It uses Samhain themes of life, death, and transformation, along with the symbols of the holiday, to dive deep into the veil and into your life's mysteries. I've used this deck personally for readings and for ritual, and it always provides insight with a sense of direction for your journey. So you can get this deck at your local metaphysical shop, Barnes & Noble, or Amazon. And there is a party game where a person sits down at a table and is blindfolded. Now there are 3 bowls placed before this person. The first bowl is filled with clean water, another is dirty water, and the last bowl remains empty. So if the person chooses the clean water bowl, then he or she will marry a virgin and the partner will be attractive and a joy to be with. If the person chooses dirty water bowl, depending on the version of the game, as there are many different versions, the person will be widowed, not marry a virgin, or a potential mate is already married to another. So the last bowl means that the person will not marry. At midnight on Halloween, a young lady can go to a lake and look into the lake to see the reflection of her lover. Another version of this is a woman dripping hot wax in a cauldron filled with water to discover what the circumstances of her intended is. So, for instance, if the wax is in the shape of a ship, she is intended to be married to a sailor. Another divination is practiced around bonfires and with white stone. So you take a white stone, you mark it, and bury it in the ashes of the bonfire. And after you bury it, you say a prayer over it and walk around the bonfire 3 times. And in the morning, look to see if the stone is missing. Now, if the stone is missing, whoever stone it is will die within the year, usually before Halloween. Now, there is also a divination in which you can create your own yes or no stones. Now make sure that they're the same size. So you take 3 small stones or wooden pieces. You paint one side solid or mark with a design and leave the other side blank. After the stones are dry, use clear fingernail polish to cover the stones. The paint side is a positive answer. The blank side is a negative answer. So you can place them on your altar to empower them with your magic. And hold the stones in your hands and ask the question and then toss the stones. And 3 yeses equals, of course, yes, as well as 3 no's equals no. But if you get 2 yeses and 1 no, it's a struggle, but the answer will eventually be yes. If you get 2 no's and 1 yes, it's unknown. And that is because there is a decision that you or someone else will have to make. So you need to toss again to find out more details. An ancient divination technique called throwing the bones is where a collection of bones, coins, shells, stones, charms, and other curios are thrown. And the pattern that it forms is examined to answer your question. From Africa to Asia, cultures from around the world possess some form of this type of divination technique. Each culture contains its own system and are very different from each other, including the pieces. So it is believed that the bones and the curios contain messages from spirit and your ancestors. So unlike tarot, oracles, or runes, this system divination requires profound intuition. The pattern meanings are not listed, and even if they were, they're very different depending on the bone throwing system that you're using. And bone readings can be done in the home or at a distance and can take a great deal of time. The reader must analyze the way the pieces land, the overall layout, the groupings, individual pieces, and how they relate to one another. I've done these readings myself, and I have had these readings done for me. So a bone reading, it takes more than about 10 to 15 minutes. They are able to provide more detail than the normal tarot reading. A bone reading kit can be purchased from a metaphysical store. But before you purchase a kit, make sure the company's reputation is sound and see what all the kit includes because there are different types of bone throwing kits. Your average 13-piece kit consists of a shell, a penis bone, a large bone, 2 small bones, cowrie shell, a quartz crystal, tooth, an evil eye bead, 4 open cowrie shells, a penny, 1 bone dice, an alligator claw, and a lucky bean. Kits can vary depending on the system and the culture. Some contain more items, while others contain less. The bones are thrown on a hard surface, and these readings do provide a unique experience that other readings do not. So those are just a few methods our ancestors used to foretell their future during this time of the year.
Well, Well, hey and hello. We're here for another session of the Witch's Cabinet. Again, we're going to have some fun with some kids' projects. Of course, this is time when we're flying on our brooms. So we're going to make broomstick grab bags. What you're going to need are brown paper bags that you buy for lunches, dollar store. You're going to need some cling wrap or some kind of a saran wrap. Goodies in form. You're going to need some kind of rubber band. And you're going to need some sticks. Okay, so this is a fairly easy one. This is one you can do. I do caution you because you will be using scissors. So if you have a smaller group, you might want to get some regular scissors. But take your bag, open it like this and bend it. Okay, once you get it bent, you're going to take and cut it. You don't want to cut too far though. So I like to hold it this way so I can see the edge of the bag. And I'll show you how we take care of that in a minute. So cut to about an inch before and just, you know, make a couple cuts in there. Doesn't have to be anything special. Okay, you're going to get that cut. Now what you're going to do is you're going to open the bag up. You're going to see where you cut, but you want to continue on these cuts. This might be where you need to learn the little hand for younger hands. And you're going to continue to cut almost to the end. And you can see where I'm cutting from and down to. You want to leave, and the reason we did that is we're trying to leave a little thing up here so it's easier for us to grab the top of the witch's broom. And you'll see once we get started how cute this looks. Just to open this up and you cut down. It's real simple. Again, if you've got real little ones, make sure that you've got someone else handling those scissors just in case. We don't want to lose any fingers yet because we'll cook with fingers later. I mean, well, we don't want cut fingers. We're going to have fun this time. Okay, and as we finish cutting the last couple here, now for the filling on this, you can have anything you want. I like candy corn because I like the sugar, but you can have any kind of treat you want. These are great to make if you have a small gathering at your house and you want everybody to feel kind of special. So for each one, you're going to need 2 bags because what we do with the second bag is we keep that whole. And you're going to fill it in this way. So here comes talent now. So you're going to want to take it and push it through so that it goes in whatever way you can do this. I made a couple of these ahead of time so I could kind of figure out what I was doing. I put my hand in it. And it doesn't matter if it pushes out because you really want it to push out. This because it's going to look like the straw of a broom. So you kind of do want it to push out. Now we're going to fill it, and candy corn is always a great one. I'm just gonna, here you can put anything you want in them. Once you get them filled, I mean that looks kind of cute. Tip this a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. You're going to fill it. Now this is where your saran wrap comes in. Any kind of cling wrap, just something to cover up the stick because you really don't want the stick on any exposed candy. If you're using all covered candy, then you probably wouldn't need to do this, but I would do it anyway, just as a precaution. You want to take your saran wrap or your cling wrap, whatever it is that you're using, and just wrap it around. Let's see how handy I am with this. You're just going to wrap it around and see, we're going to wrap it good, and you want to make sure you get it all covered because I do have unwrapped candy in there. So we just wrap it around. There we go. We got it. Good, and you're going to put this right in the middle, okay? So it's covered up here. You gather up this here. Now watch, we're going to put some rubber bands. The rubber band is only to hold it. After you get it, you get the rubber band to hold this, and it's going to be easier to tie a piece of string or ribbon or whatever you want to do to decorate your bag. Now you want to make sure you catch, I didn't catch it all, of course. You want to catch all of the paper bag because what's this going to do when you pick up you're going to pick it up by, there we go. Pick it up by the stick. And you have the cutest little broom bags and you have enough room where they can write their names on them and you can hand these out. Like I said, the kids can make them and make their own little broom bags. And look at that. Is that not cute? And it looks like you can go riding off on your broom. Okay, just make sure you get a really nice soft stick. It's a great little treat for the kids. It's a treat for you to have fun making it with them. This is an all around age group that you can do because the older kids can have fun decorating the broom itself, the handle. You can get as creative as you want, or you can kind of like, see, it looks like my witch's broom, so it looks kind of cute, but you can do anything you want with them. It's a lot of fun. The kids are going to have fun doing it. If you're having a small gathering at your house, this is a great way for everybody to leave with their little goodie bags at night. It also helps the kids from getting into them before you want them to, because you don't want to break open your broom. So you've got your treats and you are ready for your Samhain holiday. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun. I have more fun making this, I think, than you realize, being a big kid at heart. So again, it's a real quick one. It's pretty much what you have around your house a lot of times. Bags at the dollar store. The candy is actually, could even be at the dollar store. Rubber bands at the dollar store, and you can pick up your glad wrap at the dollar store, and then you can head out in the backyard and get some sticks. You can use dowel rods if you want to get really fancy with it. You can do anything you want with it. Use dowel rods, tie feathers to them, you know, just make them your own. But the whole idea is it does two things. It keeps the treats kind of contained, keeps them separate, and they can't get into them until you're ready to let them get into the treats. So thank you all for watching. I hope you guys have some fun. Today, we're gonna make some bats. Pretty awesome. You need toilet paper roll. You need, again, some black paint, a brush, a pair of scissors, and a piece of black construction paper. Really tough. So this is what we're gonna do. Oh, as I bend this down so we can see me make the mess. Okay, what you wanna do is you get to paint. Isn't this wonderful? We're gonna paint this little guy up. And you wanna try and get it on there. You wanna cover it, but you don't wanna saturate it. So if you have some little guys, you might wanna ease them up on the paint because they tend to really wanna like layer it on. Paint your little, I'm gonna try not to get any on me, and we're gonna see how well that doesn't work because I am famous for painting my fingers. Get it all on here pretty well. Cover it. You're gonna, you know, the line that where it's all messed up here. Once this is done, you want to let it dry. So if you don't get it all covered, you can always touch it up. And with this kind of stuff, you don't have to paint it to touch it up. You can hit it with a Sharpie. One of those little black magic markers, and that will cover it right up. Okay, so we pretty much got him covered. Usually it doesn't take long for this to absorb and dry, just because it is what it is. So we've done that, and let's do this because I can't tell you how many times I've knocked these bottles over and I end up wearing them. This is a great time of the year to purchase these. They start putting them out in sets. Now you want to draw a set of bat wings, and if you want to do a tail, you can do a tail. I like tails, so we're going to do some bat wings here. Just your general everyday, I'm saying this like everybody draws bat wings, but it's your general everyday bat wings. You can make them up on your own. If you're really talented, you can draw some pretty awesome ones. I'm not exactly talented, so I draw, and then I do where I only do half of it, and then I use the other half for a pattern. Because I am not the best in the West when it comes to some of these crafts. I am better at showing once I've done them rather than creating. So I can almost mimic anything, but I cannot usually create on my own. All of what you're seeing done here, we've taken from the internet or from crafts I've done in previous years with Boy Scouts and those kinds of organizations, just to have a lot of fun. Now you can paint these if you want to add an extra color to it. That is entirely up to you. What you're going to do is you're going to put it on here. First, you're going to want to make sure it would fit because I made it too long last time. You're going to bend in this edge and bend in this edge because you're going to give him his ears. And like that. And if I could have a little assistance with some tape, please. I don't believe I'm being heard. And my tail is just a little bit too long, so we're just going to snip my tail, dock his tail there a little bit. And this is the great thing about this, you can adjust as you go. So what you've got is you got your little winged creature, your creature of the night. And now the Google eyes, you can either buy the ones, and I'm just going to do a backward roll. The dog knows they're edible, so that's why the dog's here. Oh, edible eyes. Okay, and you just do a little backward roll with the tape. You've got that going, and now we're going to put your little Google eyes on. The Google eyes you can put on either any way you want to. If you buy the plastic ones, you can glue them on. These are candy edible ones. Curtis, I said I was going to have a lot of help this weekend. I really didn't think the dog was going to be that much of a help, but evidently he is. You want to get these a little wet to see if they'll stick. And a little glue, and you got your Google eyes on. And it takes that a second to dry, so it's gonna look like that. So you've got your little bat. You got your little Google eyes on it, but you have your Google eyes on your little bat. And there you go. You can, oops, we lost our Google eyes. But you've got your little bat going on here, and it's a cute little thing. This is great for the younger kids to make. It's a little bit easier for them. Their hands are a little bit more able to do it. All you have to do is make sure you bend it. And again, you see where you have those edges. You can always touch it up with a little bit of paint. You can throw a little bit of magic marker on it to cover it up, but it gives you your little illusion of a bat. I don't like, you can press this in, but to me, they wobble a little bit too much. You can have them like this all over the house. They're really cute. It's just a little bat, something very easy, very quick. If you're having a small gathering at your house and you need a couple of small, quick crafts, that's what we've done with a couple of these things. They're very quick. They're very easy. There's things that you can do with the kids. And these are like little take-home gifts that they can take home with them. Not a lot of money went into them. This is usually stuff you have around the house, unless you don't have the Google eyes. That's probably your only purchase. Again, that's a dollar store. So you could have a whole little craft session going on at your house and just have a lot of fun with it. The kids really enjoy this. If you want to get really talented with these, I have seen where you can do the glow in the dark paint, and you can paint on them, the glow in the dark, you know, touch them up with some glitter. If you got some glitter fairies at your house, you might want to just take a little bit of glitter and put on the edges of the wings. You know, you're unlimited in what you can do with it when you start with something very basic like this. The older kids can go all the way with it. They can just have really a fun time with it. The younger kids are going to have just as much fun. If you want, you can take these, get black glitter, spray them a little bit, get them a little damp with some either hairspray or a little bit of the spray on varnish, and then roll it in the glitter, tamp it a little bit, and then you'll have your glitter bats. So there's so much fun. There's a lot you can do. It's quick, it's easy, and it's a lot of fun. So I just want to make sure that you all have some really quick things to do. So no matter how untalented you might seem, look at me, I can't even get the eyes to stay on it, you know. You can do a lot of things and have a lot of fun. I'm wearing Nikki's favorite headband tonight, and it's like, it weighs 2 tons on my head. But again, it's a lot of fun. It's something that you can do with the children. Bats, you can talk about bats, what their symbolism is in Wicca, as well as the Native American lore. So when you're doing these crafts, this is the time when you can talk about what goes on behind them. Anytime you're working with your kids on something like this in a pagan atmosphere, this is the time to start discussing our folklore, how it fits into our lifestyles, and what it means to us as individuals. Bats are my totem animal. So for me, they're very, very special. So when I do bats, I really get into them because I just love my bats. I have them all over the place. This is a way of explaining totem animals. You guys have a great time.
For the Samhain season, there are many, many animal symbols. And as a practitioner of animal medicine, I could not leave this holiday without at least telling you some of the animals and their symbols and their medicines during this time of year. The only flying mammal, the bat appears when transformation is absolutely necessary. One of the most misunderstood animals, bats are essential to nature as they help get rid of pests, pollinate plants, and disperse seeds. In Babylonia, bats represented the souls of the dead, while they are considered symbols of happiness and long life in China. Bats represent change and transformation, something that most humans fear. But they can help you get rid of what no longer serves you so that you can make a way for what is new and more useful. Many times, things will go from bad to worse, but transformation itself is never nice, kind, or planned. The bat reminds us to look beyond the immediate and limited circumstances. Bat medicine can be strong and traumatic, but remember, rebirth is just around the corner. So when a bat flies into your life, it's time to face your fears and create new methods. According to a legend, witches can change into bats. Well, the bat is one of Pam's totem animals, making her a true batty witch. So I'm not quite sure if she's mastered the art of changing into a bat or not. So that's the question you need to ask her. I'm sure she'll answer it. Now, long live in myth and lore throughout the world, our spiders are known for their creativity, strength, and weaving of the fates. The Native Americans view the spider as grandmother, and she links the past to the future. In West Africa, African Americans and Caribbean folklore, the god Ansi often took the form of a spider and was considered the god to all story knowledge. Spiders have two-section bodies, which make them look like a number 8 for infinity. The spider teaches you balance in all aspects of life and throughout time. Spiders awaken creativity sensibilities. Their webs, made of supple fabric, are often in the spiral shape to remind us that we are the center of our own worlds. And the phrase, know thyself and thou shalt know the universe, coincides with the spider as we weave our worlds around us. It reminds us that we are the writers to our own stories, thoughts, feelings, and actions. So look at the spider when doing some shadow work. A nocturnal creature, the owl represents the feminine, the moon, and the night. It has been worshipped and demonized throughout the world in mythology. The bird is known for magic, darkness, and wisdom. So to the Greeks, the owl was associated with the goddess Athena and a symbol of higher wisdom. Owl medicine is great for clairvoyance, astral projection, and magic. As a bird of the night, it can bring out a person's secrets and mysteries as it possesses acute hearing and vision. The pupils of their eyes respond to changes in light intensity within a fraction of a minute. And the yellow coloring of their eyes symbolizes the sun, which there is light within the darkness of nights. People with these island totems will be able to hear and see what others are trying to hide, and they tend to make people feel uncomfortable. Due to the owl, people are able to see the falsehoods. Owls fly silently, signifying to keep silent and go about your business so that you can be successful. Said to be a witch is familiar, the cat has been dominated in myth and lore. Ancient Egypt held them in a position of special privilege. The idea of 9 lives comes from the god Ra, who was often in cat form. Ra gave birth to 8 other gods, which is the reason why cats are associated with 9 lives and longevity. The cat is often associated with goddess worship. It is said that the goddess Bast often appeared in cat form, or she appeared with the head of a cat. They are surrounded by superstition, including the one that witches took the form of cats. But due to the superstition, the church did some awful things to cats, as they did to people they accused of witchcraft. But despite the superstitious reputation of being unlucky, black cats and other dark or black coat animals are lucky, for they have lived longer than the creatures of their same race. It is due to their genetics of melanin, or dark color in their fur. Cats teach us to be balanced between opposites. Cats are patient, waiting for the right time to pounce and obtain their prey. The cat tells us to enjoy our social interactions, but remain independent and think for yourself, and have the courage and curiosity to try new things, because life is meant to be lived, not meant to be placed on the sidelines. So explore the unknown, the unconscious, and the mysteries of magic. Now, descended from coyotes and wolves, dogs have long been the companion and protector of man. It will give us its loyalty to its owner and without hesitation will die to protect him or her. Their loyalty is like no other, as they will stay with you through thick and thin. Even when abused, a dog's spirit is difficult to break and are known for their true unconditional love. A dog sees the good in everything. It is an animal of spirit. After all, God spelled backwards is dog. In Greek mythology, the dog was the guardian and protector of the dead and known as one of the sacred animals of Hecate, the goddess of life, death, and transformation, and the queen of witchcraft. The dog is known for its servitude, for it is the most popular service animal, as they help police sniff out drugs and bombs and can also be trained to help with medical conditions and seek out cancer. Those with dog as a totem are seekers of truth and will go into the darkness to find out. They teach you to sniff out those around you so that you can find out who your true friends are. Dogs show you not to be too hard or harsh on yourself and enjoy life. They not only provide a sense of protection, but they can show you how to handle any situation. And there are 195 different breeds of dog, and each breed can teach you something different. For instance, Dachshunds teach you how to spot the opportunities and critical thinking. But when a dog comes into your life, remember to stand firm and follow your own personal truth and values without allowing negativity to influence you. And so those are just some of the animals of the Samhain season. Thank you.
Well, hey, and welcome. This part of Witch's Cabinet is our cooking area. We're going to do a really cool little thing today. We're going to make dirt. This was a special request by Nikki that she wanted to have dirt. So, I went out in the backyard now. We're going to show you how to make it here. I have a recipe that's fairly easy. So we're going to get started. The first few things that you're going to need are your, of course, Oreo cookies. And if you're buying them, you might as well buy the extra. You're going to need, now I like to use in my dirt, a lot of people use the vanilla pudding, but I'm a chocolate kind of girl, so we're going to use chocolate pudding. And what you're going to do, the first thing is you're going to mash up some of these wonderful, lovely Oreos. Now, you don't have to take them and scrape them to do this. A lot of people do, but it's really not necessary. Here in Florida, our dirt is mixed with sand. So it being a little bit white is not a big deal. However you want to break these up, it's up to you. I'm kind of easygoing. I like to just put them on in a bag. And we're going to take a nice heavy duty rolling pin. We're going to roll over them a little bit, smash them a little bit. We're going to make a little bit of noise doing this. So I usually like to only do about half of the box at once, because if you do more than that, it really gets awful full. And as soon as you're doing this, you can put this in your whatever you're using to serve it in. Now, I like to use, if I'm doing for a lot of people, or if you're taking it with you to go, you don't want to take your good stuff by the little, dollar tins of the dollar store. And you can decorate this after we're done. After we're done, we're going to put all kinds of little decorations on it, let you see it. Well, I sit here and I get out all my aggression from this week on these lovely cookies. And then we're going to show you just a little bit. You're going to see the finished product when we're done. So we're going to get started here. And so that we don't kill you, we're going to show you just a little bit about how you can do these. So I got a little help in the kitchen today. So we're going to go ahead and let them start rolling on the cookies. I'll roll them hard. No, pound them. There. Oh, keep going. All right. This is the bottom layer that we're doing. So it doesn't matter how it comes out. The top layer we're going to separate so it comes out darker like dirt. The this is your bottom layer. Okay. Oh, yes. Whew, goodness. God loves to bang on things. So you got a mess.
Yes, I think you love food.
And it's kind of like a little messy, yucky, but we're going to put chocolate pudding on top of it. So you're going to pour this into your container. Okay. Whoops. And this is just to line your container. Because what you're trying to do is you're just trying to get enough in here to line it. And we're going to start making our chocolate puddings. I'm just going to show you that we're going to mix our chocolate pudding up. This is the instant pudding. You can use cooked pudding if you wish. I always look at it because I always end up doing this like with minutes to go before everybody shows up, because that's how my schedule runs. So I try to make this up pretty quick. For me, I like the chocolate pudding, so I will usually go at least one per, just one little box, because you're only adding on these boxes. This is really easy. It's 2 cups of milk. So if you can get away with one, do one, see how it works, and then go on from there. We are back on. I'm going to show you a little bit here. The instant pudding. It's not like it used to be. It comes up real quick. You want to make sure you get it nice and thick. When you're separating your cookies for the top, I usually recommend putting them in another container. You can make those out of them. You can make shapes out of them to put on the top of your creation. If you're using vanilla pudding, you can actually put them in the pudding. Okay. And to make it even more special and more creepy, we actually bought, I bought the gummy worms. So we're going to do gummy worms in it too. So it's going to be really nice and oh, so yummy. You can put your worms in early, like now before you put your stuff in, and then you can layer your worms on some of it. This way you get a good mix of the worms. And doesn't it sound wonderful? We're mixing worms and dirt. But this way you get a good feel for your worms. When you put your pudding on, then you can put some more worms on it. You can actually have worms coming out. I mean, it's going to be fun. Okay, and what did I tell you? You want to see some awesome looking these. These are really nice because, as you can see, if I can have my little assistant here turn this, we have the little ghost. You can see their little eyeballs. We have eyeballs. And we have the RIP. Now, these are kind of big. These would be for 2 or 3 kids to share, or, for a table, if you're putting it at a table for everybody to get it out. These are a lot of fun. The kids can help. This is an easy thing for them to do. They love mashing up the cookies and, of course, eating them. Well, that's the challenge. Try and get the cookies in to the grave before they get eaten. So let's put these down so we don't drop them. We do have gummy worms in them. We have the one gummy worm sticking out. So now you've got your graveyards. If you use the smaller pie tins, you can make individual ones. They're kind of nice too. What's left with all the cream, you can make, like I did, the little ghost with them. You can mix the cream in. If you're doing your vanilla pudding, you can mix the middles into that, and you can use that. I like chocolate because I'm a chocolate freak, so we have a lot of chocolate in ours. It's fun. Have fun doing it. Let the kids decorate. Everything you saw here is under a couple bucks. If you look now, they've got a lot of the cookies on sale. You don't necessarily have to buy the Oreos as long as it's a chocolate cookie with a cream filling. If you want to save a couple bucks, you buy the store-bought brand. And there you go. You have your dirt. And Nikki will save a bite for you, hon, when you come down. Okay, thanks a lot. Y'all have fun.
All right, then. Man.
Oh my God, you made me cry with the bats and the kittens. Oh, I'm crying now. I love those kitten shots. They were perfect. Oh my goodness. And as you can see, we do love dogs. You saw as I was making the bags, we had a dog body back there. It was alive. Trust me, it was alive.
So I made the bags.
Look at you.
A little lid here on top of it right there for the kids. And I will recommend that you try to make a bag before you actually start to make them, because I went through 2 bags because I kept cutting the top of it off. And yes, I had watched Pam's video, and I was watching Pam's video as I was doing them. So it is a skill.
Yes, it is. Did you have fun doing it?
No.
Oh, oh my goodness.
Dogs, okay? And the dogs kept sniffing for the candy and they kept wanting to know what I was doing. So
You could make them for your dogs and put doggy treats in them so they can go that extra mile.
I don't think my Dotson will allow that, but okay.
No, he's going to eat it before you get it done.
See, I have a pack of Hecate's Hellhounds. So
Oh, I can't tell you how much fun all that stuff was. Nikki, you did a great job with the cartoons. I have to tell you, I have sat here and laughed and cried through those cartoons. They were so much fun. It was great. The information. Oh my goodness, girl.
oh yeah.
You
Well,
jam-packed us.
well, that is it for us this week. You see how quickly that went.
Oh my God, it went by way too fast.
It did. And look at our Facebook page for our Samhain Book of Shadows. And next week we have our guest host, which is Rebecca Luna McLean. She will be talking with us about Santa Morta.
Now,
So
that
make
would be really interesting. I
Yeah.
can't wait for that one.
and I'm looking forward to that one as well. So wear your mask, keep social distance, and keep your fuzz babies and safe as well as yourself. And thank you so much, Pam.
Thank you, Nikki. It's been a blast, guys. Can't wait for next week. Santa Muerte.
Yeah. And you guys have a wonderful Samhain.